Welcome everybody to another SMB TechFest webinar series. This is my contribution and the industry to bring you hot topics, solutions, things that you should know about. And today I have Mike Hanauer that's joining us from SKOUT. Mike, welcome.
Thank you.
And I tossed up James Hassel name up there because he is a key contact at SKOUT, and I wanted everyone to know his name and see his photo. And our topic is security, and it's cyber as a service. And I think that one of the hottest topics outside of course, with Corona-19 here, people working at home, I think that the other really hot topic is security, and it keeps evolving, and the demand and the solution keeps evolving. And that's why I'm excited to have Mike here so that he can walk us through what their latest is. And we're going to dive in literally in 2 slides here. I got to move my mouse. That helps. The way our format's going to go is really pretty straightforward, and that is Mike's going to share the latest on how you can provide this offering and what it will do for your clients. As Mike is talking, I really want him to go through the content that he has. I'm going to be watching the Q&A, so keep the questions coming in. We'll probably, unless it matches where he's at, we'll probably wait till the end, and I'll serve up those questions and we'll tackle them. And then, of course, I'm going to chat here just for a second about SMB TechFest and let you know what's new. And of course, we have a $100 Amazon card to give away at the end as well. Got to have a little bit of fun here. And my quick share with everybody is like, what's happening? What's going on with SMB TechFest? So, actually 2 things is happening. The first one is that if you're new to it, it's a quarterly conference. It happens 4 times a year. Q3 is coming up in July 16. Well, as you can imagine, gatherings of 50 plus are a challenge right now. And our event pulls in about 300. So come July, I don't believe they're going to be having gatherings that size. So we're going to go virtual in July. And we have actually broadcasted our show for almost 30 shows. So we're actually in a really good place to do that. So if you've not registered, because it's virtual, we're opening it up. So it's a free registration if you're a solution provider, MSP, cloud provider, and you can go to smbtechfest.com/events and sign up for the virtual full day show and enjoy that regardless of where you're located. The last thing at the bottom of the screen really fast is something new that I want to share with everybody, and that's introducing SMB TechFest Studios. Studios is going to run in parallel, meaning they're both going to happen on our quarterly conference, and Studios is our online programming. So it is shows, programs that are going to stream, and it's going to be a 2-hour format and filled with content. So it's not a webinar, it's like something you've never seen before. That it is a online program, mini-me of a full-blown conference, multiple speakers, panelists, topics, solutions, and do check that out. And that URL is smbtechfest.com/studios. So that's another program is airing next week. You can register right now, no cost. All solution providers are welcome. So a little bit of excitement to share, and I don't want to steal Mike's thunder. He's going to dive in, and he is up next. He's going to get his deck ready, and we're going to talk everything cyber as a service and how it really benefits you as a MSP solution provider and how you can offer these solutions to your clients and make money and solve a problem at the same time.
All right, let me
Mike, when you're ready, you kick it away.
Yeah, let me go ahead and share the correct screen, I believe.
Absolutely.
All right, so what we're going to dive into today is not actually cybersecurity, but it's actually selling cybersecurity.
Okay.
And what we've found from our MSP partners is that the problem is not so much a technology problem or access to the technology. The problem in selling cybersecurity is actually education, visibility, and delivering value. So some of the objections that, or the main objection that we get all the time, or our partners get all the time rather, is that their end customers haven't had an issue yet. So why do they need anything? And the way that my brain works, the way that I think about that is, that's similar to somebody saying, I haven't been in a major car accident yet, so why do I need airbags? It's a preventative measure to help you out in case an issue does come up. So what we've come up with to help out our partners is a really simple two-step process. And that process is that you need to get your end customers to agree that cybersecurity is a problem to them, and then get them to agree that your MSP is the solution to that problem. So we've put together a process to help out our partners. And for those of you that weren't on earlier, this is a deck that we are going to share out to all attendees here, and give everybody the ability to customize it with their own information, with their own brand, and help them in their sales process. So if you see here on the right, it's a 6-step process with a warm-up, an overview of the cyber landscape, an overview of their business and your business. Then we get into a cyber health scoring, delivery of cyber advice, and then we go into the cyber pitch. So it's important that one of my favorite quotes in sales is, people want to know how much you care before they care how much you know. So diving right into it, you don't want to go right into your pitch. You don't want to go right into technology. You don't want to go right into product. It's important to find some common ground and build rapport. So do your research ahead of time. Like, for example, before I jumped on this webinar, I went on LinkedIn. Dave and I share 314 connections. So there's certainly opportunities for us to build some rapport there. But for MSPs who are generally regionalized, there's a very good chance that you know some of the same people. So find an opportunity to build some rapport and show them that you care about them by checking out on things that they said before, whether it was through email. They mentioned they couldn't jump on a call because they had to go to their daughter's soccer game, probably not at this point. But things along those lines, make sure that that you show them that you've been listening. So then after that, you want to dive into, let me share you with what we're seeing in the cyber landscape, and then dive into some specifics of your organization to craft the right solution based on your needs. So at that point, you can start to dive into the cyber landscape. And again, these are some slides that we'll be sharing. And it's important to note here, there are 4 million open cybersecurity jobs right now. And the lack of cybersecurity talent right now is a major problem. But what we've found is an even bigger problem is that there's a lack of people who can communicate cyber risk. And the reason for that is pretty simple. It's how technology has evolved over the last 20 or so years. So if you look across the top line with devices, as the number of connected machines is increasing, you go down to data storage is increasing, transfer speeds are increasing, perimeters are starting to get blurred, attacks are becoming more sophisticated, and the landscape has to become reactive to the threats because the bad actors are driving what protections are needed rather than the industry. So at this point, you want to dive into your customer's business. So this is where we get into how you can craft the right solution. So ask for an overview of their business. Even if this is an existing customer of yours, you still want to gather that information. Things change all the time. Employees leave. There are gaps in who needs protection, what needs protection, what information there is. But find out what are their top 3 corporate initiatives, what information they want to protect the most first, where does that data reside, how does it move, are they centralizing their log sources? There's a whole lot of information that you can garner at that point to help craft the right solution. So I'll share with you a few of our slides, how we've structured this information. And again, these can be customized for yourself. So what we share is that we've assembled talent from both public and private sector and have a relationship with the Department of Homeland Security to share threat intelligence. And it's important to note that we have some extremely talented folks from a technical perspective, as well as that handsome gentleman, Mike Hanauer, the CRO there, from the channel space as well. I spent 8 years at Datto, started there when there were 25 employees, went all the way through all the acquisitions. And this is sort of how we share our leadership team and what we focus on. And then we structure our, how we give information about our business very simply. It's what we do, the problem we solve, how we differentiate ourselves, and why MSPs partner with us. So at this point, once you've shared information about your company, we move into what we call a cyber health checkup. So you may have your own version of this already, or we're happy to share our own, but this allows you not only to see what technology they're using, but how robust it is, and utilize a scoring rubric. So what we've seen is both with existing partners or existing customers and new prospects for MSPs, they're using this as a way to give a score, and they can actually use that score to give examples like, if you are below a score of 80, then you need to sign a waiver with us. If you're above a score of 90, then you get a discount on other services, because we know that that there's not going to be as many threats for your organization.
Mike, I just got to say, this is an invaluable resource for an MSP, meaning one of the challenges, as you pointed out, that we have is how to position the fact that the client, they just need it. They need the service. And to have this checklist that you can sit down and fill in, that's already done, that you've done here, and then be able to show it to a client so they understand where the vulnerabilities are, that's awesome.
Yeah, and specifically on things like endpoint, you think an end user is just, they might have Norton antivirus that they haven't updated in 3 years. Or they could have a really robust MDR solution. And if you just ask if they have endpoint, that's not going to get you the information that you need. So having a high, medium, and low risk based on each separate product, and even two-factor authentication. You may have two-factor authentication, but if not everything you're using and not everybody is on it, that still poses a huge risk. So from there, you can actually, you can start to prepare your recommended package for them based on the information that you've gathered so far. So you can then dive into, once you have that information, you can start to show your expertise. And for us, what we've seen is that the vast majority of attacks are really similar. They're going after one of three things. They're going after your identity, they're trying to execute a file, or they're trying to deliver a DDoS attack. And the three ways to protect that are with confidentiality for identity, integrity for integrity of your systems for the file execution, and availability of your technology. So we have recommended cyber hygiene for small and medium businesses. So here you want to establish what you want to protect the most, and data and systems that you care about. So a bank or a hospital, for example, may want to be protecting their PHI for HIPAA compliance. An auto dealership wants to protect all their client information because they're collecting social security numbers, bank information, running credit checks, things along those lines. And then two, you want to build concentric rings of security around that data. And some people call that the cyber kill chain. For example, if your firewall misses something, what do you have in place to pick that up? Number three, you have to know if you have a problem, and that's why monitoring your network is essential. Somebody saying, I've never been attacked before, they probably don't have much evidence of if they're being attacked right now. We've seen instances where a bad actor will get in and nobody knows that they're sitting in there for 3 months collecting information so they can, or forwarding emails so they can pose an attack at a later date. Taking response time down is the difference between a problem getting public or not. So if you have a cyber incident and you can clear it up quickly, that could be the difference between your reputation getting totally screwed over or being perfectly fine from it. And then finally, picking a framework that covers people, process, and technology, and point to the framework as a way to mitigate that risk. And we personally think that NIST is going to become like GAAP accounting standard, even though it's not perfect right now. But it's important to realize here that cybersecurity is not your destination; it's the journey. So picking where you want to go, and taking small steps along that way, whether it's starting with email protection or endpoint protection, finding a way to start your path along that journey is crucial. So at this point, once you've given them the information, you've given them the information they've given you the information you now have the opportunity to pitch your product. You've earned that right to ask if you feel their company is the right solution to the problem. So for new customers and current customers, those conversations are very different. With new customers, there's the opportunity to build a robust security portfolio within your bundled solution. You need to fully understand what their current environment is, which is why we do the checklist. And then finally, pricing and packaging is paramount. You have to know what your market will bear. With current customers, you may not have the opportunity to bundle those solutions in, because when that product was sold, the cybersecurity landscape was different, and a signature-based antivirus may have been fine, and now you need to move towards a more behavioral-based endpoint protection. So educating them on how the landscape has changed since the last time that they renewed their services with you is important there. But your trust and your expertise is the most critical factor here. The fact that you've worked with this end customer for 3 years, you've helped them through good and bad, they trust your judgment. And the strongest MSPs that I know they've become trusted advisors for their end customers, and most technology recommendations are taken as long as it's within budget. So I'm not going to dive in too much to the product here, but Scout has a full suite of products that align directly with those existing packages for wherever your customers are on the cybersecurity journey. You could purchase them a la carte or bundled, but like I said, this isn't going to be a product pitch, but this is how we sort of go into how we bundle our solutions.
And Mike, while that slide is up there, just to bounce back to it, we will share this deck, and therefore you'll be able to take a look at each one of those solutions and ask for any info. And then if you do have any one of these that you want more info on as we're talking today, just drop that into the Q&A. We're not really using the chat, just so everybody knows. We're going to stay focused on the Q&A area. So if you did want something particular, drop it in Q&A, and we'll make sure we get to it.
Yeah, we don't have the product expert on the phone today, so
not a problem.
If it gets too technical, I'm probably not the right person, but
yeah,
we can certainly get you in touch with anybody to dive into these further.
Great.
So here, how do we deliver that solution through MSPs? So our aim was to have one place to go for cybersecurity. We take all those offerings that are on the previous page, deliver them through a single vendor, which is us, on a single pane of glass with everything backed by a 24/7 SOC. So this gives MSPs a way to deliver a comprehensive security offering without the need to add additional staff or resources. And the ultimate focus here is to enable MSPs to deliver cyber as a service to those SMBs that are most at risk of an attack. So here's a quick view into the dashboard, one pane of glass to view all your cyber. So everything's located in one place, multi-tenancy company management for MSPs. So you can look at all of your customers on an aggregate level. You can look at individual customers. You can give specific customers access to their dashboard if they're more technical. Gives you access to self-service installation, resources, and the most important thing here is automated reporting, which has been the bane of people's existence in security, is pulling that information out after an incident has happened. So that's all provided there. And then we get into the sales support. So this is all how we're helping along along this journey, how we fit into this path. So sales support here, we have all the products in one place. Everything here is custom branded. So when you're going on these product pitches, you have the ability to bring some documentation with your brand on it, showing your expertise. Also available there is sales training, product enablement access, and finally, this is designed for MSPs to scale and grow their business. So here you'll see the scoring rubric up top. This prospecting worksheet on the bottom right has been really helpful during the sales process for MSPs. We have probably 10 to 15 different verticals that we can dive into, which goes through what types of company, what's their most critical data, how you can score them differently based on compliance needs and things along those lines. Right here in the middle, the remote worker security guidelines was probably the top resource that SKOUT has ever made, based on everybody shifting to work from home. We saw people sharing it on LinkedIn. There were small towns that were sharing it to their local communities and business. So this has been really helpful there.
And Mike, I'll just pipe in really fast. I think it's awesome, again, anytime that a vendor like yourself provides these templates, because these templates is what enables an MSP to rapidly sell, because otherwise it's up to us to try to come up with this, and it's really your expertise. So I think it's great that these templates are there.
Yeah, and it's also important to note here that these are all, if you just want to send us an email, reach out to somebody on LinkedIn, based on everything that's going on right now, there's not a requirement to be a partner to get access to these things. So if you need something and you think it'll help your business and you think it'll help secure your end customers, we're all for it. We understand that the MSP community for us is a long-term play. And we know that if we can help MSPs and help secure end customers in the long term, that's only going to help us regardless of partner status with us.
Awesome.
So here's the flywheel that we built based on our relationships with MSPs. So we're building solutions for MSPs that leverage deep MSP insights into SMB needs to deliver exceptional value. Then we help our MSPs find customers. We help them convince customers with technical training, sales training. Then we enable those customers to be successful. And then by the enablement and the support aspect here, that's allowing us to build better products and better solutions. And I think it's important here to make note of the number of the word solutions here. We don't want to be a product company. We don't want to be a vendor. When you hear about security, I actually, with my time that I spent at Datto, there's two words that MSPs use when they're talking about the vendors that they use, and that is vendors and partners. We want to be a partner. And I think what we're doing here is helping to build that community. So it's important to note that we don't want to be another vendor to the MSP community. We want to be a partner, which is why it's very similar to when I was at Datto, the backup industry in 2010, 2011, where MSPs were buying StorageCraft license, they were building Supermicro servers, they were finding space in a data center, and they were building everything themselves. And Datto came along and gave people a way to bring all of those things together and deliver it all on a single pane of glass with a single vendor. I used to call it one throat to choke, and for all of those technologies and no finger pointing. So that's what we're trying to do here with the cybersecurity industry. And then finally here we have the SKOUT Partner Program. This was just released in January, so we have 3 tiers here of bronze, silver, and gold. And for any MSPs on the call today, the threshold to get into bronze is usually $5,000, but any MSPs that are on the call today or listen to it at a later date, we'll be happy to put those MSPs directly into the bronze tier, move them directly into that 15% discount, and get them started on their cyber journey.
Awesome.
So finally here, this is my last slide. We love MSPs so much that we bought the URL welovemsps.com. So if you go to welovemsps.com, it'll put you directly over to the getscout.com website. This is just our way of showing love. I think we did it around Valentine's Day this year as well. But for anybody on the call today, feel free to reach out to me at mike@scoutsecure.com. They can also find me on LinkedIn, reach out. We'll connect you with the sales and marketing team so we can start building out your own custom sales deck based on the framework and start to expand your cyber offering. And that is all I got.
You know, so Mike, as I watch for the Q&A and questions that people ask, let me kind of kick it off myself and ask on a security offering side on a high level. What do you find is the biggest challenge partners have offering security services to their clientele? And you kind of touched on it, and that is clients don't realize the need. And so just tap into that just for a minute. What do you tell a partner when they say, I'd love to sell more security solutions, but my clients, they don't feel they need it? Share a little bit of insight on what you'd say to a partner.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to value. Even something that I always say to my team is that there is no such thing as a pricing objection. It is always a value objection. And I like to reference like if you were going to buy a house, and you went to a realtor and you said your budget is $100,000 for the house. And they say, all right, great, I'm gonna show you a house that's $500,000. And you say, no, I told you what my budget was. And they say it's a 15-bedroom house on the water in the Hamptons. Well, you're gonna find $500,000. You're gonna find some way to get that money because you see value in it. It may be more expensive than you were expecting to spend, but if you see the value in it, and that's why I think it's so important to go through these steps, help them understand what their risks are. They don't know that, most customers don't know that there's a difference between antivirus, MDR, EDR. There's all of these acronyms, and just a simple checklist of this is what antivirus does, and this is what you're still vulnerable to. This is what an MDR solution will do, and this is what you're still vulnerable to. And some people will be able to accept that risk, and they'll be okay with it based on the cost. But some people will start to understand more about what their needs are. And as soon as you have a need, that's when the sale happens.
Right. And I'll tell you the next question, and I'll take a stab at it first, and then I'll turn it over to you for a minute, because it is a question I hear a lot. And the question is, my clients say, I thought you were already doing this for me. So when I try to sell them security, how do I get past that? You know, so a lot of people know that I do SMB TechFest, but I also have an MSP for 25 years. And the first thing I'll tell you is that one of the things our industry did, maybe not you, but our industry did, which is not good, is the term all you can eat. All you can eat is not a good term. Stop using it. And what we really tell our clients is twofold. The first one is that what we are doing is supporting, maintaining, and proactively taking care of the equipment that they had yesterday, today. So in other words, everything that's in their infrastructure, all of their users that were there yesterday, that's what we're maintaining and proactively helping them with today. The second part of that is think about insurance for a minute. When I say insurance, I mean like most business owners can relate to things like general liability insurance. Your insurance is not all inclusive. Your insurance has tiers because not everybody has the same level of exposure. As a good example, maybe you don't live in a flood area, so you don't have flood insurance. Or some people don't have cybersecurity insurance. It's an add-on. So today's threat and threat actors are bringing on new levels of threat and attacks that didn't exist 2 years ago. So hence you have a higher level offering for those clients that need this higher level of protection. And there is a baseline, meaning there is a baseline that everybody needs this. And you have brought on additional services and tools to take care of that. And here's the add-on for that. And then if you have someone who has HIPAA or compliance or additional needs, then perhaps you have an enhanced version of that. But it's not all you can eat. We do everything for you and always will. There are packages and solutions. And Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, from my standpoint, it all comes down to education. I don't know if anybody has ever seen the evolution of ransomware. Like looking at this map, it starts out in what 2007 there was one, and then 2008 there were six, and now there are thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of different variants. It looks like the New York City subway map, the way this thing spreads out. So I think it comes down to education of how the landscape has changed. And yes, that was the right solution for you at that time. And to use your insurance, your reference to insurance, if you look at a life insurance policy, if your income doubles, there's a recommendation that if you want to continue continue on your path and you want your loved ones to continue life as they knew it, then you need to bump up your insurance policy. And going back to my reference of cars earlier, just because you bought your first car in 1970 and there weren't airbags or shoulder strap seatbelts, even if you still have that car, that doesn't mean it's considered safe now. That doesn't mean that you're going to be safe driving it because it was safe when you bought it. So simply educating people on the fact on how things have changed will go a long way, and maybe they don't need everything. It's not everybody needs a log monitoring or an IDS solution, but having a cybersecurity program and plan that they're confident in, that you're confident in, is huge.
Right. And you know, it's funny, we've talked about different things, but I'll share backup as a great example. And that is a lot of people, a lot of MSPs charge to provide backup services to their client, because while some clients may only have a little bit of data, there are some clients that have terabytes of data.
Yeah.
And also, you probably don't sell or give away laptops and computers to your client. Why not? If it's all you can eat, give me 10 more laptops. And my point is that there are other things that you do for your clients that you absolutely charge for. Projects, new additions, a new server. Most of you probably just don't give a $15,000 server to your client. So do consider security as an additional add-on that you've included now in your practice to offer, like backup. If you offer phone services, you probably don't give them phone and dial tone for free either. I'm sure you charge for it. So I consider it a service, a feature, a need, just like all those others.
Yeah, and all the things that they are paying for, they saw as a need, otherwise they wouldn't be paying for it. So it's establishing that need, whether that need is compliance or it's giving them the ability to sleep at night. Establishing what the need is and understanding why that data is so critical to them, that they can't lose and nobody else can get, that it goes a long way in establishing that need.
And Mike, we got another one. You're going to like this one, and that is a lot of people liked the documents, the templates that you put up, that you and the SKOUT team have put together. And the question is you shared it, but some people missed it. How can they get a hold of those? Obviously, your goal, which is rightful, is for them to become a SKOUT partner, and you should look into that. But also, you generously said that it's a give in the community. So how would they go about getting some of those? How do they reach out to you?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me at mike@scoutsecure.com. They can find me on LinkedIn, and if they can't figure out the spelling, it is right there on the screen. They can also register for our partner portal. There's not a requirement to be an existing partner spending money to have access to the partner portal. And all of that documentation is available on the partner portal. And that's just partners.getscout.com.
And I totally encourage you to get a hold of those templates and use them in your business, and take advantage of what SKOUT has to offer. I think having those kinds of templates allows you to sit down and share a story with your client. and show them when they understand the complexity. I mean, they don't need to understand that the complexity themselves as much as you're taking care of it. And when you show them that template, they realize, oh my gosh, I can't do these things, but yes, I need them, but you can. So
Yeah.
do get a hold of those.
And it's important to simplify it too, and show them what they're protected against and what they're not protected against. And like I said before, some people, once they know what their vulnerabilities are, it will terrify some people. But some people will say, okay, that's fine. Like, you look at large organizations, they're trying to protect themselves from almost every single attack. 99.999% of attacks need to be protected. A small business, a deli, doesn't need to be worried about a DDoS attack in most cases. But they need to make sure their email isn't compromised, so they don't have to shut down because their POS system isn't working. So everybody needs some level of security, and it's a matter of determining what the level of maturity of their business is to get them the protection that they need. And a one-size-fits-all solution is never the right thing in cybersecurity.
Right, totally agree. So as I continue to watch the Q&A, I do want to share just a little bit here of excitement. So I refresh my screen. And if you were late in coming in, I want to share with you real quick, which I appreciate SKOUT being a great supporter of SMB TechFest. SMB TechFest now has two sides of the business. So one side is the quarterly conference. 37 conferences we've done now, which is really exciting. And the next conference is Q3, which is July 16. Now, with today's pandemic happening, gatherings of more than 50 people is just not really there, and our event pulls in 300. So we will be virtual for Q3. And as virtual, we're going to open it up because people can attend US wide or anywhere else, Australia, it doesn't matter. Canada, you get the idea. So do register for the Q3 July show. You can see the link there. It's smbtechfest.com/events. So right now we've made that a free registration, and register and enjoy a full day of content with literally hundreds of other MSPs and solution providers. The second side is a bit of a new announcement, a new feature, and that is the online program side, which is SMB TechFest Studios. And Studios is something unique that has not happened in our industry, and that is that it is a 2-hour program that is brought together a whole bunch of leading MSP solution providers sharing how they handle issues and challenges. It's product solutions. It is resources in the industry, people that you should know about. And it puts it in a 2-hour segment that you're able to watch on your schedule. I really don't like when something is on a fixed time, and if I miss it, I miss it. So this is going to be available for you to view for several days, and then a new program will come out and you'll be able to watch that. You can register for that free. It's made free for all solution providers, and you can see the link, or IT professionals, and you can see it right there at the bottom, smbtechfest.com/studios. So go ahead and register for that, and definitely take advantage of it. And I do have 2 Amazon raffles money to give away, but before I do that, I see another question. Let's see. Oh, there is a question in the chat about do you sell direct? And I think there was an answer that was already given, which is we are channel only. And so answer to that question. And I don't see any other questions coming in right now. Oh, wait, there is. Hey, Mike, on a high level, can you explain what a SOC is for someone who doesn't know and how they might take advantage of that?
Yeah, so a SOC is a security operations center. And security operations centers serve as the security line of defense for your business. So whether that, and all of our products are backed by our 24/7 SOC. So any alerts that are coming through from your email, your endpoint, they're actually doing the interpretation of that, getting it out to you in layman's terms, and letting you know what those remediation steps are. In addition, for the more advanced security solutions like log monitoring, our SIEM is doing a lot of the AI analysis and will spit out, if you're getting 1 million logs over a month, it will spit out maybe 1,000 alerts, and we'll sift through those alerts and see what's actually relevant, what's an actual security concern, and boil all of that down into what you should be concerned about and what you should remediate.
And I'll leave you with a thought for everybody that's on the line listening to this today, and that is, for your own MSP solution provider business, you should also have a SOC service that monitors your own company, meaning drink the Kool-Aid, protect your own business. And statistically, about 28 to 31% of MSPs that begin a SOC service on their own business discover that they have been compromised, or there is a vulnerability that they did not know about. And so it actually is quite high, and higher than it should be. And it really starts with you protecting yourself, which in return collects, protect your client. So if you don't currently have a SOC yourself, for your own team and company, do look at that, because you should.
Yeah, and one thing that I'd like to add there is that we're seeing an increased number of attacks on MSPs. It's not just their end customers, and the reason for that is these organizations that are doing these attacks, specifically with ransomware, they're actually very well-run organizations that they have people that have quotas, and an MSP is a target that, if they can infiltrate the MSP and use them as an attack vector to get to 20, 30, 100 end customers that all get infected with ransomware, that is it's a huge win for them and a huge loss for the MSP and their reputation. So I would definitely encourage all MSPs to protect themselves before they go after protecting.
Right. And Mike, there was a question about that. Does SKOUT offer an NFR or something for their partners themselves that sign up to use your services within their own company?
Yes, we do. So it will depend on the products, but we do offer a pretty robust NFR discount, which is beyond our partner tier discounts. And then we have specific bundles like work from home bundles that are discounted if you want to get started with log and just start with Office 365 log monitoring. We can do something like that, but yes, we do offer NFR discounts. Go ahead. There was also a question in the chat from Don. Once a client moves forward with SKOUT services, do they go directly through SKOUT for support or through the MSP? And one of the things that we do on a per client basis is actually establish a phone tree. This is going to depend on the end client, and it's going to depend on the MSP, because not all MSPs are 24/7. So if we have a pretty severe alert, that MSP may not be available. Our contact may not be available. So we'll develop a threat level and who we should call in what cases. And we make those calls from the SOC depending on the severity of the alert that we get in.
Excellent. And I do want to give away 2 Amazon cards. So from our list of all of our attendees, we have a little random thing that spins here. And the first person, Jim Clark. So Jim, congratulations. You got a $100 Amazon card. And you're going to receive that via email. So you'll get the code for that. And then also David Suckert. So Jim and David, congratulations to both of you. And again, you'll receive electronically via email those to use. And as we wrap here, let me take a look. Mike, as the last question, if you want to give a little stab at this, it simply says, where do you gather your intelligence from? Boy, I don't know. That's a loaded question, isn't it?
Well, we actually have a bilateral relationship with the Department of Homeland Security. So we're one of a number of companies that are sharing information with them on zero-day attacks and things of the sort. And when we receive that information, it's usually 2 to 3 days before it's out in the news. And we'll put together our own threat alert, and we'll get that out to all of our partners, customers. You can also sign up for that for free on our website and just be a part of that. And then for partners, we actually we private brand those as well, and the MSP can use that threat intel to stay front of mind with their end customers.
Awesome. Mike, as a wrap, let's share real fast a couple URLs, a couple links, and I'll just go first. I only have 2 that I'm going to share. And that is, again, for the virtual conference that's going to happen in Q3. That's open to all solution providers. You're free to register for that. You just go to smbtechfest.com/events and do register there. And the second link, which is the new studios, which is the online program, that one is also available for you to register, no charge. Just go to smbtechfest.com/studios. And do check out both of those. They run in parallel. And Mike, as you wrap, I'll let you do the closing, and I'll let you share the website address for anyone who doesn't know Scout's address.
Yeah, so the website is getscout.com, and then the partner portal is partners.getscout.com, and then also do not forget about welovemsps.com.
I love it.
It's a good one.
I love it. That was very good. I do like it. So with that concludes today's webinar. Mike, I really thank you for sharing how to leverage, to put forward providing the services so that we can explain to our clients that need. That's awesome.
Yeah, happy to help, and thanks for having me, Dave.
All right, thanks, Mike.
All right, bye-bye.